So when I got the skid steer, came with that bucket, and then I searched around a little bit, and fortunately I was able to find a grapple bucket that also works. So the problem with this machine is that the older Gehls have their own style quick connect couplers on them, where the cylinder kind of those top two hoops, and then it pins in down the bottom, and that's what holds it in place, obviously one on either side. So it's kind of a pain in the ass to find attachments for these, and the more I thought about it, the only things I really need are a bucket, a grapple bucket. This one happens to have teeth on the end, which is cool, so it's got the benefit there, and then also a set of forks. I figured those three attachments I'll be able to do pretty much everything I'm going to need. So I started looking for forks, couldn't find any that had this right style to it. I didn't want to buy the adapter plate to adapt the machine to the newer style quick disconnects, because then these two would be useless. So I ended up finding a set of forks that came off of a forklift, and I'm just going to build my own brackets and adapter plate to go on there. So I'll go show you the forks that I got, and then these are going to be what I'm replicating. So here's the main backing plate, I guess you could say, for the forks. So this there's actually, you can see the piece of Teflon there that used to sit inside. So this shuttle assembly used to be a side shift, and on the front part you can see the tangs where the forks clip in there, and then these are a set of forks. So I got a good deal on it, way cheaper than a normal set of forks, and I went this route because if I bought a set of forks for a skid steer, I was going to have to modify them anyways. And this came up a lot cheaper than a set of forks for the skid steer, and all I have to do is create my own mounting brackets for them. Now, there is a place online that sells pre-cut pieces for the mounting tabs to be able to connect to the old skid steers here. The problem is that it's like $300 by the time it gets shipped to your house, and you're kind of stuck with what they send you. So I decided to draw them up myself in SolidWorks and have a buddy of mine CNC cut them on the plasma table for me, and that way I was able to design something that would work exactly how I needed to, the right dimensions and the specifications that I wanted. So this is what I came up with. As you can see, it's got two pieces here, and then a base plate on the bottom, and then also square tubing that's going to be for the support structure to go in between the two pieces, and then a separate bushing piece here for where the pin goes into place. So being able to make them myself, I was able to put cutouts in the side here, so they pretty much just drop in together for the most part, which made assembly real easy. And then because of the spacing of the tubes here wasn't even with the spacing there, I had to have one side a little bit longer. So we're pretty much just going to go like this. I'm going to go edit and cut. So just like that, you press cut, and you have all your pieces laid out perfectly for you, right exactly where they need to go. So here's the pieces that are cut up out of 1/2-inch steel bushings I had a local guy make. You can see they fit together with the notches there, and then all the square tubing is in place, and the plan is I'm going to tack up all these, make sure that they fit on there, get the spacing right, kind of tack everything together and make sure that we're good, and then we're going to weld it out. And then additionally, I'm going to put 2 crossbars in the middle here with a receiver hitch, so I'll be able to put a trailer hitch in there, and I'll also be able to use this plate to move trailers around the yard, which will be really good. So be kind of best of both worlds, and this thing should work out pretty good when all set and done. So we're going to get everything kind of tacked up, lined up in place, and we'll see how it fits on. All right, we got them all tacked up. The bushing here is welded full out, but the plates are all tacked up. I just checked them. They do fit. So we're going to weld this thing out, and we got the old Everlast literally maxed out on everything. Probably a little bit thicker than what this machine is rated for, but that's all right. I'm only running 030 wire. This would definitely be better to have 035, but it definitely the weld definitely sinks in place, and there's plenty of heat getting put into it, and there's a lot of surface area to weld on, so should be good. So we got both sets all welded up. We have the lock pin over there, so they're both pinned in place. They look good, they all fit good so far. So we're going to take some measurements across the top here and transfer that over to the main frame of the forks, get it tacked up in place, make sure everything fits good, and then we'll weld that out as well. So got the pieces all tacked up to the square tube. I went back and forth in my mind quite a bit as far as the process that I wanted to do. If I wanted to weld them all out both sides on the square tube and then weld them in place here, or weld the square tube in place and then weld these on top. The main factor of the decision was based off of the strip here on the inside. You're not going to, like this, it's not going to be welded on the top. I can only weld it from up underneath, but it'll still be welded in the middle. If I welded the square tube first and then these plates on there, then this inside corner on the bottom of each would have been not welded. And I decided to go this route because there's more surface area, weld length this way between these two pieces than there would be over there. So I figured it's less weld that's missing there than there is here. So everything's all welded out bracket wise. I just have these tacked into place here. We're gonna get this thing off the table and just double check to make sure everything fits, because there's really no turning back at this point, but there's really no turning back once it all gets welded out. But the old Everlast been holding up great, running at full corn all the time, and it's been doing good. So hopefully it all fits. So it fits. It's all welded up everywhere. Just flipped it over backwards again after I just welded underneath in those center sections on the back side there, which is actually the front. We're looking at the back. The last thing to do now is to put 2 bars in the middle that'll space there that the receiver hitch will get attached to. So kind of got a little carried away, but we have the hitch installed. I gotta walk with this thing. We got the receiver hitch installed, 2 cross braces across the back. I think it's going to be good enough just like this. If I ever run into an issue where I think that thing's moving, I can put in some supports that go vertically in there. But in reality, it's not an immense, too much pressure that's going to be put on it. But gave it a quick shot of black spray paint. The last thing I'm going to do is we're going to put it on, and then I'm going to test out the hitch. I'm going to go lift up the gooseneck with it, and then we'll put the forks on it. And then at a later date, I'm probably going to switch out this bracket here with an actual like D-ring shackle style, weld it right to the main frame here, just so that you got a place to pick this up and also kind of secure stuff as well. But we'll let the paint kind of dry off on this for a little bit, and then we'll go hook it up to the gooseneck and see if the skid steer will move it around. Oh, say it works. Safe to say that we can definitely use it to move the trailers around the yard, which is sweet. So we'll get this strapped back down, throw the forks on it real quick, and that's gonna be it. All forked up. Well, that's gonna wrap up this project. Obviously, I'll keep you guys updated if I have to make any changes, anything, or if I have any issues. But overall, super pleased to finally have a set of forks and also have a way to move the trailers around the yard with the skid steer inside of the truck. Just can obviously do it a lot easier with one person. You can get trailers exactly where you need them as well. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what else you want to see. Also, got a light bar on. Put that on. Didn't make a video of it. It was a pain in the ass because the bolt holes lined up with the grid, but it's got a light bar. So see ya.